Alright, ladies and gentlemen, I do apologize for the delay on commentary, but I am now back. So, Chris Elford was able to take down game number 1 with a horde of Planeswalkers over Chris Lansdell. So these players are going to a game 2 here, and it looks like Lansdell going to take a mulligan. Update from our other semifinals. James Randall and Bossly is already through to the finals over the Mardu aggro deck that Mike War was playing. So the more streamlined Bossly deck has advanced to the finals of our game day. This looks like a very greedy hand here for Alford. 2 land, Anafenza, Rhino, Nissa, Elspeth, Hornet Queen. I mean, if he drew 5 lands in a row, this is a fantastic curve. It looks like he drew a Wingmate Rock. That doesn't do anything. I'm assuming that that's a land on top. Lansdale with a good draw, though, in Sylvan Caryatid. So he's going to take a pain. So Alford does draw a land. So here's the Caryatid into Courser. And it looks like we're going to see a tap land from Chris, putting him to 18, leaving Hornet Queen on top. Chris is going to draw a Scry land. So Chris is drawing quite well right now, keeping this 2-land hand. There's a Disdainful Stroke on top. Attack for 2. And looks like Chris is not going to play out the Weaver. He's just going to pass the turn. There's Siege Rhino. Chris also has Wingmate Rock in his hand, which is pretty dang good. Not good against the stroke, but he, I guess, was hoping to make Chris tap out there. So now, Chris knows about this stroke, so does he draw it out with something is the question. And it looks like the answer is no. He's just going to play Anafenza. You can't Disdainful Stroke that, but you can Silence the Believers it. Chris is 1 land drop away from being able to hit both creatures, but is he going to be able to wait that long? Is the question, and I'm not sure that he can. Looks like Alfred is going to take a fetch here. So we'll see here now if Alfred is able to develop his board even farther. Abzan Charm was his draw. So we're going to see Silence the Believers, exile Siege Rhino here, and it looks like this is going to be a hit for 4. So now Alfred has got to figure out what spell he wants to bait out Disdainful Stroke with. Looks like he's got Nissa pulled to the front, but I'm not even sure Chris cares about Nissa. Hornet Queen is a straight trump to that card. But then again, I don't know if... Well, no, Chris will actually have the mana to do... to play the Hornet Queen next turn, so... Yeah, it looks like Chris isn't going to run anything into it. He's just going to ship the turn here. He's going to be pretty sad when he sees old Hornet Queen come down. It looks like Chris not going to lead on the Hornet Queen, however. He's going to lead on Nyx Weaver. I think the idea here is that he doesn't want to tap out of Disdainful Stroke mana, because then Chris gets a chance to lay something huge. Speaking of huge things, a Johnny was drawn. Chris has to draw his card for turn. Courser of Crufix was the draw. So let's see now if Chris is going to have any success in baiting out the Disdainful Stroke. Looks like the answer is going to be yes. Nissa is going to be cast, and Nissa is not going to be allowed to enter play. See if he decides to attack with Anafenza here. I don't know if he will, because Anafenza is a very potent weapon against this Sultai deck. Of course, creatures going to Chris's graveyard is pretty strong. I'm pretty sure Chris would snap double block it, and you see, Ulford comes to the same conclusion. He is going to hang it back. Now, of course, Murderous Cut is on top. Now, it looks like the mill is going to happen with Nyx Weaver. It is going to mill over Murderous Cut and negate. And Sylvan Caryatid was going to be Chris's draw. He's going to scry a second copy of Hornet Queen, presumably to the top. So Lansdale would have to take a pain here to cast Hornet Queen, and it looks like he's not even going to do that. He's just going to pass turn. Looks like no double block here. Looks like it's just going to be a straight block sack. So Chris opts to get back Disdainful Stroke. Courser of Crufix going to come into play. Looks like Ulford is going to sacrifice his Windswept Heath here. So, Garruk Apex Predator is the top card for Lansdale here. It's a pretty good card. And here's Caryatid. Unfortunate thing there, he had to shuffle his deck after flipping 2 Siege Rhinos. Now, of course, the first Siege Rhino will remain on top. That card was public information anyways. However, the second one was not. So here is an attack with the Anafenza and the Courser of Crufix. Courser is going to get a +1/+1 counter. And it looks like Chris is going to go to 8. Wingmate Rock is going to get Disdainful Stroke pretty quickly here. So now Garruk is going to be the draw for Chris. He's going to find a land on top. So here comes Garrick, the apex predator. I'm going to assert some dominance right now, and he's probably going to do just that. Because I believe Chris is left with a bunch of walkers in his hand. So Anafence is going to go away. Manic Influence going to be played for Chris. He is going to gain a life. Attack, block. So here comes the Rhino. So it looks like a Johnny going to do a bit of digging here. Gonna find Soren. So it looks like we're gonna see a sacrificed polluted delta. Garrick is gonna get rid of the Ajani. Chris's draw for turn was Whip of Erebos, which is a pretty good card. I believe we're going to see Hornet Queen here. Alright, so it looks like Ulford is going to respond in kind with his own Hornet Queen. I'm still trying to find his tokens. Attack Garrick. So you see there, Ulford is going to pick to kill the Sylvan Caryatid as opposed to the Hornet Queen, because he is aware of the fact that Whip of Erebos is in Chris's hand, does not want to let him extract value off of that right now. The Courser of Crufix is now going to be revealed, and Chris is likely to just play with his Whip here. There's Whip of Erebos. So the other Hornet Queen currently sitting in Chris's hand, as well as Murderous Cut. So this game is not looking too good for Ulford here. Looks like Lansdale's going to pass the turn. Doom Blast is the card on top for Ulford. So, looks like Garrick has created a death-touching beast. Another beast going to be created here. So you see Chris is just going to attack with the death-touching beast, which will get blocked. Ulford now going to cast a Doom Blast, which he does have to tap mana for. So there we go. Attack Garrick, Murderous Cut. I believe Garrick has 3 counters. 5 counters. Yeah, Garrick currently sitting on 5 counters. Now going to be ticked up to 6 to make a new beast. And we might just see whip back Hornet Queen here. So we do. So Chris just gonna instantly rebuild his board here. And now Ulford is going to need to come up with a pretty darn good answer, and I don't think it exists. Or, sorry, it kind of does. In Garrick's wake would ironically be pretty good at dealing with Garrick right now. I don't believe he is. I played one yesterday. I only got to cast it once. I probably won the game as a direct result of it being cast, though. Yeah, Elspeth Storn, Garrick cannot plus twice in a turn, so he can only kill one of those. And it looks like Chris is going to attempt to rebuild a board to try and balance out what Lansdale has done. Yeah, that's the other problem. Yeah, so Chris, so Lansdale not realizing he doesn't have Courser in play anymore, so has to shuffle his library. Alfred's probably not too happy that he has to do that because there was a forest on top. But that's it. Kill Elspeth, says Lansdell. So his plan here, of course, is to give his creatures big power boosts and get in with Garrick's Emblem, because they do gain trample as a result of that. Looks like Sorn is going to bite the dust here. So both Planeswalkers now dealt with. And here is another Hornet Queen. And Ulford is going to pack it up to that, and we are going to head to a third game here. James Randall waiting patiently for his opponent. Yeah, if you have to worry about a Garrick Emblem, you've lost long ago. Yeah. So, let's see now. Is Ulford going to be able to pull this one back? Is he making a couple of sideboard changes here? Or is Lansdell going to take down another Abzan mid-range deck and advance to the finals against a matchup that he has declared legitimately unwinnable? I don't believe Lansdell is particularly confident in his Boss Sly matchup with this bug deck. I think he designed it more so to attend. I don't actually care. I don't mind either mid-range deck. Really a toss-up no matter who I play. I think if you had to select, though, you would probably pick the one that isn't playing Siege Rhino. Oh, obviously. So, because, I mean... Yeah. First one comes down on the card, have a shot. And I need to hammerhand every turn. Mm. Unless I have arena hammerhand, it's only at like 3 life. Less than 5 in the second. Yeah. Talking about which deck James Randall would rather play with his Boss Slide deck, and we have come to the conclusion that it's probably Bug. So it looks like we're going to see a Scry from Ulford. Alright, so Lansdell is going to play land for turn. Thoughtseize. It's going to reveal 2 Coursers, a Necropolis Fiend, and what I believe is a Villainous Wealth. So he's looking at this villainous wealth. There is a forest there, yeah. So it looks like Ulfred is not going to risk the villainous wealth. Okay, so Soul of Innistrad was the draw for turn for Lansdale. It was in fact a soul. So yeah, it looks like he was just fetching and said go. Alright, so it looks like we're going to see end of turn, lose 2 life, draw 2 cards from Ulfred. And needs to take a pain to do that. I don't think he has a 4th land. Ulfred is on a mulligan this game. Hutsies. So he gets to see the Soul of Innistrad, the Necropolis Fiend, and the second Courser of Krufix. Looks like Bile-Blight in his hand, alongside Sorin, Liliana, a Johnny, and a Hornet Queen. Boy, he'd like runner really bad. So the Soul of Innistrad is going to get taken here. Probably just doesn't want to face down a 6/6 Death Toucher. Second Courser. And here is this the life gain and Scry. Does Lansdale want another land? Probably not. Ship that to the bottom. Hornet Queen on top. Ulfred down to 10 here. So he finds a land. Now what's he going to do with it is the question. There's Sorin. Looks like he's just going to plus that Sorin and say go. Doesn't want it to die to the coursers. Gain some life, reveal Whip of Erebos. That's a good card. Ulfred is on 10 here. Looks like Lansdale opts to put some damage onto Sorin and drop it to 1 counter. Another Abzan Charm to draw. I don't think that's going to do very much. Ulfred can use Bile-Blight as a little bit of a trick to get out of either himself or Sorin, or both, taking damage, but it looks like he is just going to opt to draw some cards here. And he's going to find a land and a Nissa. Pretty sure he has every 5-drop Planeswalker his deck has access to in his hand right now. Which is probably not what he wants to have right now, to be honest with you. Blue to Delta. Guess what's really good with multiple coursers? Fetches. Alright, so here's Whip of Erebos. He's going to attack Ulfred down to 5. Sorin is going to die. And Lansdale is going to gain even more life. Another Sorin is the draw for turn. And this is something that can happen to the Abzan deck, is that it can just clog up on all of these really late game cards and really just not have any efficient way to deploy them. And looks like Chris is going to extend the hand. Chris Lansdale going to win the match 2-1 over Chris Ulfred. He's going to do it again, defeating the best deck in the format, known as Abzan Midrange. And we'll see how his